How y'all doing out there? Welcome to another edition of Pass the Ox.
Pass the Ox.
Hey, it's your boy, Dwayne. You already know. Your cousin's favorite cousin, your neighbor's favorite neighbor, and all that good stuff. Your favorite person to ride in the car with, all that good stuff, man. That's what we do. We pass the ox. Just like I'm about to pass this introduction over to my one and only co-host. You already know, Miss Janean Berry. Talk to the people. What's up?
What's up, everybody? Hope everybody has had a great week coming off of Juneteenth. It's your girl, Janean, and episode 3, baby. That's it. That's all.
That's all, folks. That's all. And we got a real dope special guest in the house. Special guest. This man is a man of many titles. Many titles. I mean, you can put CEO to the title. You can put head marketing director to the title. You could do so much, but you know, we consider this man family, and it's very ironic because, well, this very show is being broadcasted to you on Six Families Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, gotta welcome my boy, Vinny. Vinny, talk to the people, man. How you doing, sir?
What's up, man? Hey, honor to be here with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all doing some beautiful things right now. Past the ox, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Man.
Thank you for coming.
Pleasure. Thank y'all for having me, man. And,
hey, no problem.
You know, shout to y'all doing your thing. You know, Six Families Radio. We here, man. We causing a little bit of drama out here, so you know, I like that.
Could you spill the tea? What kind of drama are we causing out here in these streets?
What up?
You know, we ruffling some feathers. You know, when they counted me out, they thought I was gone. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I come back with a team.
Wow.
Period.
They like, oh shit.
Oh,
Vinny
yes,
ain't playing around this time. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Right. That's
So,
what's happening.
know, they, you know, it's like when Michael Corleone said in Godfather 3, he said, look, you know, they try to count me out, but, you know, sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, peace to y'all, man. Y'all had, we gonna brag a little bit, but y'all had sort of first episode. All right, hold on. The first episode of Pass the Ox, Usher, right? That was the Usher joint, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Y'all broke the record of listenership on the show.
I can't remember.
One. Yeah, so clap.
Bro, what an applause, bro.
What a time to be alive, baby.
Oh.
I got a message from you know the higher ups at my server, and they was like, we might have a bandwidth problem. I said, what you mean? Looked at the numbers, and then it was crazy. I was putting my daughter to bed, and I was like, oh shit. All right, I see what we doing. So you know, shout out to y'all, man. Y'all had an incredible episode with the Usher. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just glad to be here. You know what I'm saying? We got a big week this week. You know what I'm saying? We starting off tonight, Monday. We starting off fresh, but you know, come tomorrow, I'm about to wreak havoc on a lot of people tomorrow. So
I'm
we're gonna
ready.
touch on that. So, but yeah, I appreciate y'all having me. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. So, you know, we're gonna get a little bit more into Mr. Vinny and, you know, telling the people out there more about Six Families Radio, you know what I mean? And telling them about In the Mix and letting them know about the Mix Radio show, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, they got to know about that too, you know, especially if you're an old hip hop head, you know what I mean? And you like the classics, you know what I mean? You like the classics. Maybe you're not on the mumble rap phase and the mumble rap era. Maybe you like the classics, you know, when you got bars, you know what I mean?
Hey, man. Shouts to the mumble rappers, you know what I'm saying? They need it right now, but our shit is needed too, so I'm just gonna bring it back, you know what I'm saying?
Come on, man. Let's get it. So, speaking of which, Because this is past the eyes, baby. We show love to all the genres, all the styles, both recent, both current, past, present, future, all that good stuff. New wave, you name it. We showing love to
You
all of it.
name it.
You know?
Sorry. My bad.
Shout out to the throwback.
I
You
felt it in
already
the
know.
spirit. I felt it. Sorry.
We felt it. We felt it. So, Neen, let's go ahead and welcome this edition of What's in Your Ears.
What's in my ears? We going new or we going just what's been on the playlist heavy rotation?
Man, let's go with what's been on the playlist and heavy rotation. Talk to the people.
All right. So I'm gonna go throwback first because this is super random. I don't know why it's been on my playlist, but Pink's first album, Can't Take Me Home. And I don't know what possessed me to go back to this, but I remember I ordered the CD. It came out in 2000, so I was like in 4th grade. And remember when you would get the little thing inside of the mail to where you can like order CDs and like the first 5 are free and they'll send it to you?
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
What was that called, man? Oh yeah, the Columbia House joint.
Yeah,
I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
So I ordered Pink's first album. I got Joe. I got Maya, Ricky Martin, because I was looking out for my mom and something else. I don't know. But anyway, Pink's first album was so good to me. And I think it was because back when she first came out, she wasn't like rock star Pink. She was more like R&B pop. And her voice is actually really powerful. And I don't know, listening to the album was just super nostalgic for me this week. So that's been on heavy rotation for me. And then following that up, Tiana Taylor, the album, my goodness, my God. I love Tiana Taylor so much.
She's incredible.
Incredible. Like when we say artist, she is that in every, like, she can sing, her visuals are crazy, what she does fashion wise, her lyrics are like so yeah, that's it. I love Tiana Taylor.
I'm rocking with that.
Yeah,
she was bringing the vibes for real. Shout out to Cuzzo for that recommendation on that album, because actually was vibing that. I was like, okay,
yo, she had
Taylor.
Erykah Badu, like she got Erykah Badu to be on a track with her. That's amazing.
Man, let me tell you, when you get Miss Badu on the track, bruh, when you get Miss Badu on the track, you know you doing something. You know you is.
Like, to have that backing is amazing. And come to find out, Erykah Badu is going to deliver her baby. So their relationship is mad close.
Wow.
Is that amazing?
That's true.
That's interesting.
That's true. Okay. Brother Vinny, how about you, man? What's been in your ears lately, man? What you been bumping lately this week, man? What's been in your ears?
Man, a lot. I mean, for me, running a station, I got to keep my ear to everything. So I've been plugged into everything. I did take a trip a little bit down memory lane. So Saturday, a week from Saturday, it was Prodigy's 3-year passing. So I had been bumping some Prodigy pretty heavy over the weekend, last weekend. And his album, HNIC 2, man, so many gems on there with everything we dealing with now in this society, man. It's kind of scary, man. So I was dumping in some Prodigy on a old school tip. And it's wild because that HNIC 2 came out in 2007 and it's 2020. So he was so ahead of his time with his lyrics and his message, and man, so that was dope. I took a peep at Black's new project this weekend.
Yes.
Shouts to him. Nino Man from Harlem just dropped a new record. He's Jada Kiss's artist. He just dropped a little project. So I was in tune with that. But I'm gonna keep it funky with y'all, man. I think the biggest record right now that's still been in heavy rotation for me, is kind of a mixture in between Royce the Five Nine's album and Eminem's album, man. I keep
Mm.
I keep finding new things on his Eminem record, and I'm like, oh my god, like, you know what I'm saying? You skip over records sometimes, and you sit back and listen, and you're like, the hell, man, what is this? This
Right.
dude's crazy, man. So,
Yeah.
man, so that's what's been in it. I'm trying to think. There was another project that I heard recently that was amazing. Um, and I want to give them them props. Um, oh, the the record with Pop Smoke and Roddy Rebel from Brooklyn. That record has been
Mm.
amazing. So that's been a burner. That's actually it's actually number two, the most requested record on Six Families Radio. So I've been burning that crazy. So the fans loving it. So I'm
Yeah.
vibing with the fans. You know what I mean? That's that new wave. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Yes, sir. I love that. I love that. Well, as far as
What you been
myself,
listening to?
man, what's uh what's been in your boys' ears? Going, like my co-host said, I'm gonna go a little throwback first, kind of bring it to the modern day. And I started out, man, and I was thinking about Fab, and I went back and listened to those soul tapes because
Yeah.
I forgot, man. Well, I didn't forget. I
You
really
had to
Fab is
be.
one of my favorite like lyricists, man. But like I was just
That
going back and just vibing off of a lot of those like soul tape remixes, how he would play off of them, flip them, and just kind of do things, and just so smooth. You know what I mean? Fab is like a smooth lyricist, dude. Like, and I
incredible.
just thought about the memories of being in like college, and then finding out like, oh yeah, Fab dropped soul tape too. Wait, for real? Like a second one? Okay, let's go. Soul tape 3. Word, I bet. And then
Live
trying to figure out like which one was
mixtape.
the best one. Like you couldn't even choose. They were all real good. So it was one of the things I had to listen to it from like start to finish and just like kind of go through there. We had the 7th anniversary recently of Wale's The Gifted album, and I had to go on that, revisit some of the songs on there. To those who don't remember that album, if you're not a Wale fan, that was the album from that single where he had Bad come out, and a lot of people definitely probably remember that single for sure. So, it came off of that Gifted album. And I mean, there were so many slept on songs from that album. It was probably one of the last actual albums from Wale that I actually appreciated. And then I kind of fell off of Wale a little bit after that. But nonetheless, Wale, salutes to you, man. And recently, man, much like Vinny, much like my co-host here, the boy Black, man, that EP, 6-piece, how man,
Yeah.
listen,
Let me
vibes
tell
all
you
day.
something. Let me tell you something, man. Black is such an underrated lyricist
Yes.
Yes.
that he does such an incredible job with the R&B tip and
Yes.
his music and his melodies. But don't fuck with him on the mic when it comes to spitting. That dude is
Yeah.
something vicious, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy because I come from an era where it's like when you rap, that's like when we talk about skill, like if you in sports, right? Your skill is your attributes, right? You quick. Um, in hip hop, usually you show your lyricism up front to prove how great you are. Now, bro, it's a different lane. It's a different game, and that motherfucker, man. Yo, Black is when he pulled a pen out, bro. When he does, man, he's kind of like Tory Lanez to me in a
Yeah.
sense because Tory is like he touches all lanes, but when he whips that pen out and he raps,
Yeah, man.
No
I'm
bro, did
telling
arguments
you.
here at all.
I'm
did
Agreed.
you
telling you.
did you hear the new Wale EP?
I
No.
did. I did listen. I gave it a check out. He had some joints on there I was really feeling.
Yeah,
And
you know he threw something out there for his fans. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't been. I think the last Wale project I really vibed with was probably the Gifted joint. And I
yeah.
actually remember his mixtape with Knife Wonder was super dope.
Yes.
Um, And
Yes.
I kind of always like, for me, Wale was one of those cats where when he would drop something, I always would listen to it. You know what I'm saying? No matter what the climate was, I always wanted to hear what he was talking about. And he's definitely one of them cats out there too that I don't think gets a lot of his props. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree.
Agreed.
For sure. For
Definitely
sure.
underrated. And Fab, man,
You know,
I almost
I
want to say Fab is underrated, but I don't think he is. Like everybody is gonna give Fab his props, and I think maybe he didn't go as mainstream as what we would have liked to see him, but the
mhm,
lane that he's in, like he's well respected. So I don't
yeah,
know.
facts.
I
I
agree.
mean, I think the thing with Fab over the years, and I've been, you know, I've been in the industry for a long time, and you know, we've rubbed shoulders with Fab on a few different occasions. Me and my camp. But Fab's just one of those dudes, man, where he's always on a pulse of the wave and what's going on now, but he always knows how to be Fab. And I think that's why the streets fuck with him. I think that's why the ladies love him. I think that's why the mainstream fuck with him, because when you get a Fab project and you get a Fab record, you know exactly it's not going to be watered down. It's not going to be anything but Fab. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I can relate
Soul
to that.
tapes, man. Wow, the soul tapes
Soul
is
tapes,
crazy,
bro.
man.
They were. They were. I mean, I appreciated those probably more than I appreciated his albums, and that's saying in a
Yeah,
good way, not even in a bad
right.
way. You know what I mean? Like you got some artists, and I'm sure Neen, I'm sure you can relate and agree with this one, but like you got artists that it's like it's not that they don't come out with good albums, but sometimes they come out with better mixtapes, you
Yeah.
know, like that are just so classic. Something about the theme behind the mixtape, you know what I mean? Where you're like, it's a playoff of some of your favorite shows or movies, you know what I mean? And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, I think about like Starlito and Don Tripp and how they, did like the Step Brothers mixtapes, you know what I mean? And it was just like, whoa, you know what I mean? That's a nice play off of the movie. Everybody loves Step Brothers, man. Everybody know
Right,
that movie,
right.
and so you just like, oh, that's a cool tribute, and you'll hear little sound bites or something, and it's telling stories, and albums do that to a degree, but it almost feels like albums kind of have like a label
Yes.
in control feel over it. You know what I mean? Like the label wants something, so the artist is gonna give what the label wants. But like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Another thing too is when Fab was dropping the soul tapes, you got to remember he was on Def Jam, and this was after From Nothing to Something, and I think From Nothing to Something came out in '07, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
yeah,
it was '07, because that's the summer that record came out, is the summer rest in peace Stack Bundles had passed away. So I think Fab needed to kind of get in his bag real quick and say, look, I'm a mainstream rapper. I just came on from them. So I had T-Pain, I had JD, I had Neo, I had all these, great acts. But he would those soul tapes came out in that era where the labels was, you didn't have that record, you was being shelved, bro. So I
Mm-hmm.
think he really creatively decided, yo, I'm gonna make a project how I want to make it, and I'm gonna do me. And when Fab does that, that's why I love Fab's beat. I love Fab's B sides and mixtapes more than the albums. I'm with you on that all
yeah,
day, all day.
yeah. I agree, man. I agree. Neen, how you feel about the mixtape versus the album when it comes to an artist these days?
These days, I actually have a question that I wanted to ask you all. So, Six Family's radio is like hip hop, is authentic hip hop radio, right? So, I remember maybe around 2012, give or take a few years, we started hearing a lot of OGs say that hip hop is dead, right? And
Hmm.
so, from y'all standpoint, do you feel like hip hop is dead, and what we're trying to do is like revive it or bring back what we feel like hip hop is, or do we feel like hip hop never died? It just has sons now.
Hmm.
Nah, I think so. I think when people were saying hip hop was dead, I think that the art of lyricism and the five elements of hip hop have been bastardized by corporate America. You know what I'm saying? I think that's really the biggest thing. hip hop ain't never died, man. Like we got to realize something that, hip hop was birthed in the Bronx, and it became this phenomenon that traveled, across seas and continents, and it's been able to bring, um, it's been able to spread that message there throughout, various different generations. So I think for, what Six Families Radio represents, you know what I'm saying, is the authentic side of the people. The fans dictate what's hot. The streets dictate what's hot. Uh, social media, fucking Spotify playlists, and all of those curated things that the fans have no say in. That's not what hip hop's about. You know what I'm saying? Um, so that's kind of part A of it. You know what I'm saying? I think what we bring to the table as a station is we give the fans control of what is being played, and they have a say in what's hot. And I come from, and it's relevant today. The streets know the temperature of things. You know what I'm saying? They are the be all, say all, and everything. And then side B to that is, you know, I think people got to realize, and I maybe the old heads never realized it, but I always been kind of one step ahead of things. But hip hop is an art, not a science. So there's no right or wrong way to do this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Come on,
I think
man.
I think
Speak
at
to
the
the
end of
people.
the day, people have their preferences, right? And I'm a huge guy on preferences. You know what I'm saying? But the beauty about hip hop right now, especially in 2020, is that there's something for everybody.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't
Yeah.
like, if you don't like the mumble rap, well, there's some other shit out there. And the thing is, you don't have to be force fed with it because you have your Spotify's, you got your titles, you can create, your own playlist. And that's the beauty about hip hop, is that there's a lane for everybody at this moment. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what Six Families Radio is about, is making sure that the people have their voice. I don't know if you guys are in Atlanta, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
What's the big station out there hip hop wise?
I would say it would be V103, 107.9 maybe, but definitely V103 above. Probably,
What's
yeah.
Yeah.
what's the
Ooh, man, it's a little bit of both, but between the two, it's 107.9 and V103 for sure.
Yeah, those would be the top two.
So do they are they owned by iHeartRadio or some of these major conglomerates, to your knowledge?
I think it's iHeart
Oh, okay. So a lot of the thing too
or
is that,
Radio One.
right. So a lot of the time with radio, terrestrial radio, your FM radio is iHeartRadio and all these corporations in the pocket of the labels. So the other thing that, for Six Families Radio that's so cool is that we actually are connecting with the independent artists. They actually have an outlet. They ain't gotta worry about putting money underneath the table to get their record played. They ain't gotta worry about having marketing and budgeting dollars to get their record played. Because if it's hot and the streets are gravitating to it, we gonna throw it in. We're gonna put it in rotation. So that's the balance that's missing from hip hop, because you have the mainstream up here, you know what I'm saying? And then you got these guys here, and it's not balanced. You feel me? So we got to be the balance in the culture, because, look, I love Migos. I love a lot of these mainstream acts. I love Tory. I think he does incredible things. I think Lil Baby put out an incredible record a couple
Fire.
weeks ago with everything going on.
Yeah.
The Baby, he's one of my favorite cats out here. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing, they get enough radio spins. You know what I'm saying? They get enough of that shit going on right now because they are in pocket with a major label. So I think for me, I take our opportunity to, yeah, you're gonna hear some of that. You know what I'm saying? But you're also gonna hear the next wave of people coming up. That in 2 years, maybe, you know, in 6 to 9 months, you're gonna hear them heavy on the iHearts. You know what I'm saying? So that's the
It's cool.
whole situation. But to answer your question overall, I mean, I don't think if you're talking to the old heads 50 and above, they might still say, oh, hip hop is dead and they killing our culture and this, that, and the third. And I think there's some clown shit out here, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be
Of
real.
course.
but there was clown shit in the 80s. It was clown shit in the 90s. It was clown shit in the 2000s. So I just think it's just finding a balance again, and that's what we bring to the table. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
I
like
agree
it.
with
I like
that.
it.
You know, hip hop to me seems to kind of be like, whoo, it's kind of like ice cream flavors. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so you may not like the newest flavor that's out. If you want to stick to the flavors that you like,
Right. Let's
go
go
ahead
back
and
to some
continue to pick
classics.
them.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're not afraid to try something new, try something new. But if you want
Hmm.
to stick to what you know, go right ahead, man. It's not going anywhere. So, you know, classics are classics for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Listen to them if you want to be stuck in that realm, by all
Yeah.
means. You know what I mean? But
You're right.
if you like, well, us in this room right now, then you pretty much like a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? You might have a preference to certain eras more than others, but you're open minded to everything that's out. You
I
know what I
think
mean?
one. Yeah, I think one thing that people get fucked up is that they think that just because it's nostalgic, that feeling made it good. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. It's like I think people need to get past that sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Because especially when you're trying to move things forward and you're trying to progress in the industry, like you
Yeah,
can't be that old head saying, "Oh, these new guys, these new guys. I don't listen to no new guys." It's like you can't do that because if you love the game and you love the culture, you're gonna pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're gonna see the bright guys, the guys that shine through. Like right now, Lil Baby's impressing me. You know what I'm saying? I really enjoyed that record he put out. And these old heads, they won't say that. Like, nah, the Lils out here, nah, they ruin everything. And, we can't think
The
like
Lil
that,
Wills.
especially
the
yeah,
Lils.
the,
Yeah,
the younger generation coming up now, man, they gotta realize that, bro, Snoop Dogg was 16, 17 years old making Doggy Style.
Yep.
Nas was 18 when he wrote Illmatic. So it's like hip hop is already incorporated in the youth. And they are the ones telling us about what's going on in the communities in the world. So we gotta listen, you know what I'm saying? But again, this shit is an art, it ain't a science. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
it is what it is.
Great
You know,
answer. My goodness.
come on now. And that's why we got Vinny on the show, people, because this is a man that is open minded and can tell you a little bit about every bit of this culture, man. You know, and that's what we do on Past Odds. You know, we're not favoritism. You know, we're not going to just cater to one side and not go around and just give you the love, spread the love of every genre, every style
Word.
that we can. So, salute to you if you're an
Thank you.
artist, up and coming, maybe already hitting it on the streets, maybe your mainstream status, and you just so happen to have enough free time to listen to us right here coming up on the come up. Either way, you're saluting. We are saluting you because you are appreciated and what you do and what you bring to the culture. That being said, now I'd like to bring the segment of New Music Friday. So again, this always broadcasts live on Six Families Radio on Monday nights. However, this show is recorded on Fridays. Therefore, we get to bring you New Music Friday, and that's the beauty of recording on Fridays. So, Ning,
Yes.
let's start with you.
So I've already mentioned Tiana Taylor's The Album. I don't know what more I can say. I kind of went super to bat for her during the last segment, but if you haven't listened to it already, do it. On our first episode, we kind of mentioned how like we miss real R&B, and Tiana Taylor goes into the 90s R&B bag wholeheartedly. On a lot of these tracks, you know, she would make reference to some old school joints like old Erica, old Lauryn Hill, like just a dope album all around. And then Meg Thee Stallion dropped a single,
She did.
Girls
Oh,
Girls in the Hood. Obviously sampled and has some of the cadences from Eazy-E's Boys in the Hood.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to kind of ask a question to y'all concerning that particular single, if that's okay during this segment.
Of course. Shoot.
All
The
right,
ox
let's
is
do it.
passed to you.
Let's do it. Okay, so um, Like I said, Girls in the Hood samples and kind of sounds like Boys in the Hood. And so Eazy-E's daughter, Remarkable, she's an artist as well. She goes onto Instagram and she starts to kind of rant a little bit and saying how, you know, she doesn't think that it's fair that the people given clearances to these classic songs or clearances to use Eazy-E's likeness, they're very selective on who they give the okay to, versus her, who's actually Eazy-E's daughter. I'm assuming that she's tried to get clearances before and she's being denied. So her whole argument is like, yo, if I'm his family, or his family should have automatic access. So Dwayne, you as an artist, and Vinny, who's worked in the industry, I don't know shit about shit. What is it? What is the process of clearances, and does she have a right to feel that way?
Vinny, go ahead and start this one off, bro. I'd love to know your side first.
Man, that's a slippery slope, man. Um, you know what, man? I think Easy's daughter has a point, to a point. I think that whoever's in control of the estate and whoever's in control of the publishing, they basically they to be all sale in that shit. You know what I mean? So before I make a comment, because obviously we on the show, and this could get on the web super quick. Um, is she upset that she wasn't able to clear like a record from her father, or is she upset that
I
she didn't have the
think she
opportunity to do it
just,
and Meg did?
yeah, I don't think it was like shade towards anybody, or I think she was just speaking about the clearance and process in general, on how the people that press the button, that those were her words, the people that press the button have this preference on who gets the clearance based off of who's hot
Yeah.
versus who really deserves the clearance, I guess.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and that's a slippery slope that happens in this industry, because you got to understand that whoever Boys in the Hood, whoever had the original publishing on the record, it was obviously easy to a point. Whoever had wrote the record, whoever produced the record, and then whatever label it was under, that shit happens all the time. And I think what Easy's daughter needs to realize, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, as her father, and she wants to probably protect his legacy in a way
Yeah.
where it's not tainted, you know what I mean? But what she's got to realize too, that, Meg is on top of the world right now. And if Meg's label, which I believe she's on Atlantic, they got fucking money. So if they're gonna turn around and spend that money to clear the record, that's a great opportunity for the estate of Eazy-E, because not only does it help you get the bag, it brings the record to a whole new generation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think for me, there's two sides of it, but it's a slippery slope. Did you guys ever hear the story about? Do you guys remember the Ja Rule record with Case living it up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was a Stevie Wonder sample, and that record was super hard to clear. Was a story back then, and Stevie was super, super, super upset about the content of the record, because if you hear it on the album, there's a clean version, and there's only a clean version. But I think prior to the record being put out on an album, one of these mixtape DJs, DJ Clue, one of these guys had the explicit record. And part of the clearance obligations were them for to clean up that record to put it out. You know what I mean? So whoever you're taking the record from, they can tell you whatever the fuck they want in regards to how they want the record to sound and who they want on it. So I think from a business standpoint, they probably didn't want to give Boys in the Hood sample to fucking, Jane Doe from, Compton, California, or wherever. They wanted to give it to somebody who could do something with it, you know what I mean? And it happened to be Meg. So I salute Meg, because, she's dope, because she respects the culture. She understands it's a business as well. But I think she's really tipping her hat. The record's dope, you know what I'm saying? So she killed it, you know what I mean? I just think people gonna hate sometimes, but I think for Easy's daughter, she got a point. You know what I mean? They probably wouldn't give it to nobody else. It was either going to be Meg or whatever other female artist was popping. Maybe Cardi, I don't know. But they ain't going to give it to anybody. You know what I mean?
That's a
And you know
fact.
what? Honestly, on an artist perspective, I gotta kind of side with Vinny there a little bit, and take it here with the fact of, you know, it's always tough. I think about what Derek said last week when he brought up Prince, and he brought up how, you know, Prince was a guy who was in control of his music. You know what I mean? Like the rights to his music and things like that, and wanted to work towards that. And when you're talking about family and bloodlines, stuff like that's important. You know, if Prince had a son or even a daughter right now, you know, God rest Prince's soul, but people who are out there sampling right now, because Prince was against sampling. Prince wanted people to make their own original stuff. You know, like, nah, don't sample what I got. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
make
Do
your
your
own
own
art.
thing.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And to this day, in a sample generation, which sampling's been around for years, and so it's like, if Prince had a son or a daughter right now, with him being, you know, away from us for a couple of years now, at this point, if somebody was sampling, if somebody was like the hottest rapper, you know, the hottest R&B artist or whatever, and they literally sample something from one of Prince's known hits, and that descendant of Prince is like, yo, wait a minute, I'm his direct descendant. You know what I mean? Like I'm literally his seed. So like, if
Right.
anybody should like remix this, it should be me. But you got to be careful with stuff like that, because then you don't want, you know, usually when you're like directly related to a legend like that, you kind of don't want to follow in their footsteps, right? You kind
Mhm.
of blaze your own path. So with Easy E's daughter, what I would say respectfully is, it's like, well, look, just give her props in the fact of, you know, salute to you for, you know, sending tribute to my father. You know what I'm saying? Respect to you for that. You going hard right now. Like Vinny said, you know, show respect to the woman that's up there, you know, killing the game right now. I heard the single and I was just like, okay, nice twist there. You know what I mean? You know, little super detailed in a lot of what you were saying there, Miss Meg. But
And
nonetheless,
then too, like,
you
I
know,
don't think that she was coming for Meg. I think she's just talking about the process as a whole.
Yeah.
That is
yeah,
It sounds like it.
access
Yeah.
to my father's stuff.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
well,
And that's just the hard part, is like, you know,
yeah,
when you don't control your masters. And I encourage, you know,
Hmm.
I've told shit I had when I was on Dwayne's show, the other show, Life's a Botch. You know, we kind of talked about parallels in certain professions where you want to own your masters. You know what I'm saying? Owning
yeah,
your masters is such an important thing nowadays, that I think when I look back on it, from the birth of hip hop until now, and a lot of other genres, a lot of people got shitty deals, and a lot of people got taken advantage of, you know, from the beginning. And I think it's unfortunate, because you get a lot of tampering with clearances, and a lot of tampering with samples, because all it is of these corporations is making money. It ain't about family. It ain't about blood. It's about that fucking almighty dollar. So, you know, again, it's rough, but you know, I understand her point of view. She's just, you know, she just said like, hey, I can't do this and pay homage to my father. They won't let me do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, but
yeah,
peace to Meg, you know what I mean? Because she, you know, she obviously she took the record, she spun it, she made her own. And these new little kids out here, you know, these 18, 19, so you know, and above, they bother with it. And then they go and
Love
do
it.
their homework and say, oh shit, where this come from? Easy E, what's
exactly,
that? And then
Hmm.
boom, that
exactly.
opens them up to a whole nother era of hip hop. So that's how you get back. That's how you pay it forward. You know what I mean?
You know, and I totally agree with you there, Vinny, because I can speak from experience of myself of like, you know, when I realized, and then you could probably agree with me here, you know, growing up, a lot of the songs we came up on and like how we were like loving them, but then as you got older and really started appreciating music, you're like, wait, hold on,
This didn't age well.
this came from, this was a sample from that. You know, like,
Yeah.
and then you hear the
Yeah.
original version and you appreciate the original version maybe a little more than the
Way
version
more.
you had. You know
Yeah.
what I
Right.
mean? Or like Janine said, you're like, wait, this didn't age well. You know what I mean? You're like, hold up. You know what I mean? Like this ain't right. Even
Right.
going back to what we were just saying about like appreciate the new wave. You know what I mean? Let me just go to say, I love Master P. I love No Limit. I love what they were doing in the 90s. But when you listen to it today, it ain't sounding too great.
Who
You
made
know?
you know we bout it? Who made that song? Because that still goes hard. That still turns the party up.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
True. I mean, some of those, yes, but like but in sense of, I guess what I mean to say respectfully, because again, they're
I know
great
what
for
you're
their
trying to say.
time.
Yeah.
But like, if you listen to the mixing and the mastering
Yeah.
back then to now, granted, technology's evolved a lot since then.
Hmm.
You listen to the mixing from then and now, you're like, man, there is no way this would hold up in today's standard. You know what I mean? Like, it was good for that time and that era, but like, would it really hold up today? You know what I mean?
I take a cue. I remember having a conversation with DJ Premier. Shouts to Ian Schwartzman. We was talking about hip hop, and obviously Primo has worked with everybody, Nas, Jay, Biggie. You know what I'm saying? Every great MC you can ever think of, and a lot of the time, a lot of the music back then, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Now, he called it it's expiration music. It's like milk. You know what I'm saying? It don't stand the test for shit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then you come to find out later on down the line that, hey, it was cool, it was alright, but the shit that was made to last long and build a legacy, those are the things we still celebrate in the culture now. Like,
Yeah.
I talked about Prodigy earlier, man. So, those are guys that are respected and honored in our culture because of the work they put in. They they didn't they didn't do it just for the dollar. They didn't do it for nothing else. They loved it because they were about it.
Yeah.
So it goes back to that. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Agree.
I will give props to my co-host Neen over here and mention Mr. Nipsey Hussle, because even upon his death, like there were a lot of people out there who be honest and upfront with you and let you know that they probably didn't know Nipsey's music like that. They really didn't. But suddenly now, since his death, people have done their research. They see what he did not only for his community, but they went back and listened to his music and listened to what he really was telling people within it. And now it's like his music's living on in a classic type of sense now, where it's like,
Yeah,
Yes. Nip is
because of the
gonna age
way
well.
that he was, so it just goes to show,
it's
man,
crit.
like, careful what you do for the almighty dollar. You know what I mean? If you're gonna make
That
Yeah,
part.
something, make it long lasting, people. Make it classic. Make it
you.
stick. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
man.
Make it
Your
stick.
discography, your albums are works of art. You could throw them up on a wall. That you can't just put them out for the sake of putting them out. It's crazy you bring up Nipsey, man. I was going through the archives and I had uh I have forged a relationship with Nipsey over the years. He was actually one of the first dudes. Um, when I first started doing the radio slash podcast and type of mix show type thing, he was actually one of my first guests on my show.
Wow.
And man, he was on my show so many different times, man. The Slauson Boys was on my show. We had built such a dope relationship, and he was one of those guys that he did not he did not compromise his art for fucking nobody. And the thing I loved about Nipsey is that he was the artist that the major labels didn't want to invest in. They wanted to sign him real quick because they thought he had a little bit of buzz. And then when it came down to putting the records out, they didn't do nothing for him. So I was so happy when he put out, Victory Lap, because for all of us, man, it was like people who had been around him and seen him rise up. It was like, wow, like he did it his way. He didn't do it nobody else's way, and he was able to own his masters. He was able to do it the right way. you know, and it sucks that, you know, in his passing that everybody now flock and listen, you know what I'm saying? And they didn't show the love when he was still breathing. You know, I'm a big proponent on giving people their flowers while they're here. But the benefit to it is that, you know, people are motivated by his music. They're motivated by his words and his lyrics. And I'm gonna pull that Nipsey interview out of the vault soon
Yes,
because
please.
man, I wish I had my old phone, man. Like the last time me and Nipsey spoke was a week before Victory Lap came out. And I shot him a text. He kind of dealt with a lot of the shit Pap dealt with when we was signed with Job Records, when Pap was being shelved and he was putting out music for the people and speaking about, you know, the things that are happening now in our society. And major labels don't want to hear that shit. They want to hear women, you know, drugs. They want to hear the violence. They want to hear all of that. But I shot him a text. I said, "Yo, man, this is it." You know what I mean? Like, congratulations. Like, I'm proud of you over here. And he didn't even he was asking us how we was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of dude he was. Like, how y'all, man? Yo, what's going on with Pap? You know what I'm saying? How's Rim? You know, how's she feeling? So, you know, he was just such a genuine individual. And I was super fortunate enough to, you know, have a dope relationship with him. Shout out to his brother Sam, shout out to Adam. But yeah, he's one of those cats, man, that I think 10 years from now, man, his impact's gonna be huge on this new generation. I promise that.
Agreed. So, ladies and gentlemen, I got a little segment I want to introduce that I'm probably going to do this because I like that Apple Music really has this. And I did not know that they did this. So I'm going to start using this for the show because this is pretty cool for those of you who probably have Apple Music and don't really probably notice this. So shout out to Apple Music for they introduce classic albums of the month.
Oh, let's do it.
So are you guys ready for the list of albums that they have under classic albums of this month? And this is many genres. So we've got rock albums, we've got hip hop albums, we've got R&B albums, you name it. So here we go. Number one, we got Thank Me Later by Mr. Drake himself.
Heartbreak Drake?
By the way, yes, Drake? Drake?
Yeah, Drake.
Wait. Yes. Thank Me Later, rap album from Drake, came out in the year of 2010, as you know. And then, of course, next up, we've got the Recovery album by Eminem, also released in the year of 2010. Go figure, right? Who knew?
So 10 years.
Yeah, wow. Crazy, right? 10 years since Recovery, y'all. 10 years since Thank Me Later. Crazy how time flies, right?
Flying.
Man,
this is ridiculous.
Oh, it gets better. So next up, we've got Wild Heart by Mr. Miguel, released in 2015.
Miguel,
and we've also
super.
I miss Miguel.
Miguel, man, I got to see that brother live, and I tell you, man,
was it an experience?
Yes, it really was. It was like watching Prince, literally, like watching Prince live. This man had all the ladies going crazy. College. I was going to University of Memphis at the time, people. And I'll never forget, it was our spring fling. Spring. And literally, he was the first big act that they brought to University of Memphis. And it just got bigger from there at this point. To this day, I'm pretty sure they just keep on bringing bigger and bigger acts for their spring flings every year. But man, when I say I got to see this brother, I'll never forget. Outdoor concert,
and
lights was on point, had the stage on, like, I mean, the man was taking the shirt off, ladies going, ah!
Of course he was.
Man on top of the speakers, this man on
it's
the
Miguel, man.
Miguel
hey,
was,
man.
Look.
It's my guy,
Miguel
man.
Miguel had them, what? Made me a fan. I was like, man, that's a stage presence for real. I did not know he had all of that. And since then, and that was when he came, just to show how he was still really on the come up at that time, because at that time he didn't really have major mainstream albums. He had did the song at that time, the biggest song he did feature wise was him and Wale's Lotus Flower Bomb. That single had just come out. I remember all he had to do was let that play. He did that. He did the little verse of that. Lady started singing it like crazy.
He didn't even have to perform.
He didn't have to perform it. Not at all. You know, All I Want Is You. You know what I mean? Like, and he had him going. You name it. It was like, okay, Miguel, you signified. And I always become a fan of a person when I see him live most times, because it's like, if I wasn't on him before, the moment I see him live, if I see and they killing it, I'm like, you know what? Now I want to go listen to your stuff, and boom, I'm like a fan for life. So shout out to Mr. Miguel there. So next up, we got a guy who was recently, not too long ago, featured on a versus battle with the one, the only Ludacris. This guy named Nelly, Country Grammar.
Hey, Country
Grammar. Released in the year 2000. New Millennium album right there. Need I mind you, singles such as Country Grammar, Ride With Me, EI, you name it. Batter Up, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, that's a classic album. That's a good one.
I'm telling you, man.
Speaking of another cat that is super underrated in his own right, on how he took his whole city and put it on the map for hip hop, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
And the records he got,
man. Come on.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Hey,
man.
You know what? Another thing too, people forget, man. He was an entrepreneur, man. He made a lot of good moves as an entrepreneur, and you got to do that in music, because you can't survive just off your music, especially when you don't control the masters. So he was instrumental in the 2000s, man, being a hip hop artist, an entrepreneur. He even crossed over a little bit. He started doing a pop joint. I think he did a country record with somebody. So
come on,
shout out to Nelly, man.
Come on, man.
St. Louis.
Pimp Juice.
Pimp Juice.
The energy drink.
Yeah.
You only want me for my
I remember that.
Come on.
I used to get it before 10th grade.
You wildin'.
And so check this out, y'all. Next up, we got a lovely, lovely legend, a diva, some would even call her. Her debut album, 1990, Miss Mariah Carey with Mariah Carey. Back when albums were just the title of your names. Mariah Carey.
It was such a simpler time then.
Such a simpler time. You didn't have to name an album. You just named it what your name was, and there you go. 1990. Talk about it, man. Talk about it. After that, let's see some ones that stick out again. We got, this one's from my man Vinny right here. We're going to go super classic. We're going to take him to 1990 again. We'll Let the Rhythm Hit Him. Eric B. and Rock Kim.
Classic. Wow.
Yeah, buddy. You see, they just keep on coming. And then,
you know what's crazy? I don't mean to interrupt you, but man, and God forgive me, but that was actually one of the first tapes I robbed from a family member when I was a kid. Yeah, man.
Hey.
See, I'm 33, so that I mean, I was young. I was probably like, I remember my mom and my pops got me like a Fisher Price Walkman. It was a tape deck, you know what I'm saying? But it was Fisher Price. I remember that moment.
I remember those.
I got Heavy D and the Boys from my mother. And then at the time, I had gotten what was it? Heavy D and the Boys. Oh, and MC Hammer, bro.
Ooh.
I wasn't really fucking with Hammer, but I love Heavy D and the Boys. So I remember I was like a cousin or a friend. We had a couple tapes, man. I was probably like 6 or 7, bro. Sticky Fingers Vinny, bro. I stole that one. And Big Daddy Kane, Long Live the Kane, and them 2 albums fucked me up, man.
Come on, man.
Instead of your Fisher Price Walkman, I love it.
Yeah, I had that thing for so long. Me and my mom was talking about the other day. It was like, I had that for a long time, and I played the shit out of that thing. It lasts forever. And you buy tape decks after that, and they will pop.
Yeah.
The CD players and all of that, and then it transitioned into what was it, the iPods, and what
And
I'm saying,
MP3
MP3
players.
players. Yeah,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
let the
Telling you,
rhythm
man.
hit them.
I'm telling you,
Damn.
that's definitely something we're gonna have to plug onto the up and coming show brought to you by OTS called Theology, the evolution of the musical device and where it's come from. Do you see where I just went
Shameless
there with the
plug.
people?
I
Do
love
you
it.
see? That might be
There
an
we go.
ology past the Ox collab. You just never
Hey.
know. But yeah, that's something for your membranes to take in because
and
we come
and
a long way.
and live on Six Families Radio. You know what I'm saying?
Live on
All
Six
day.
Families
Live
Radio.
action.
Come on. Which, by the way, just in case we didn't mention, if you don't catch the live broadcast, you can catch this on demand. On demand. Six Families Radio. You see what I did there, Vinny? You see how I did that, buddy? Had to do that just for you right there. Shameless plug. You already know. So one more standout classic album that I had to mention that Apple Music put in the classic albums of the month. Another throwback. You could call it a grandfather of hip hop, if you will. I mean, if it wasn't for a man like this, we probably wouldn't even have hip hop. 1980. Curtis Blow.
Gotta look
Architect,
Curtis
man.
Blow.
Wow.
Did you like how I did it there? I had to give him a Curtis Blow. Give him
Hey,
a voice,
man.
you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Perfect.
man, that's good. That's real good, Dwayne. That's on point.
You know,
That's
man.
on point.
Well, you know, I am a man of many impressions. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna get into all of that today, the dirty. You know what I'm saying? But hey, you know,
Okay.
we do this thing here. Pastor Ox, you might get some. You never know what you're gonna get from the ho-hos over here. But nonetheless, all right. So moving on and transitioning to a very, very, very serious brief moment in the hip hop community. On today, we found out late last night, we lost an artist who had a very famous hit single that came out, I believe, in the year of 2006. Baby Huey.
Pop, lock, and drop it.
Pop it,
Pop, lock, and
drop
drop it. Pop, lock, and drop it.
The
Couldn't go
universal
nowhere
song
without
that
hearing
had
that.
ladies sitting there and pretty much doing exactly what it mentioned.
We were pop, locking, and
song.
dropping it. That's exactly what we were doing.
In this very song.
Yeah.
A very singular hit that literally carried on, not just from the time of when it came out, but even to this very day, managed to still be a classic that you would hear. Well, maybe not today in your clubs because of the corona situation, but nonetheless, you would hear it in some form, shape, or fashion. When that song came on, ladies.
You trying to get loose? Pop, lock, and drop it.
Neen, did you
Facts.
pop, lock, and drop it?
I tried.
At least you tried. At least you
Locking
tried.
and twerking and all that gyrating really isn't up my alley. But I like the song and I tried to pop, lock, and drop it. I did try.
So
Wow.
we had to definitely make this a mainstream note because it was something that was a very, very serious moment in the hip hop community. It was a double shooting in Huey's hometown of St. Louis. And as we were just talking about Mr. Nelly and trailblazing and carrying St. Louis, people like Nelly paved the way for people like Baby Huey and so many other artists who have come out, you know, Chingy and so many other artists who have made their way from the wonderful town of St. Louis. And so our thoughts, our prayers, concerns go out to the family and the close friends of Baby Huey. May Pop, Lock It, and Drop It live on forever and ever and ever. Because at this point, that's what we need.
Yeah. That's
For
sad,
real.
man.
Sad,
Yeah,
sad
rest
time.
in peace, man. Rest in peace, man. Condolences, thoughts, prayers of the family, friends, colleagues. Yeah, just the violence in this world and hip hop is such a terrible thing. We talked about Nipsey earlier, getting killed, and You know, my my homie Stack Bundles tatted on me. You know what I'm saying? Like shit's senseless. You know what I mean? And when we really think about it, it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? But yeah, his music, man, will definitely live on. You know, and his fans, you know, the people that keep his music alive, keep that going. And again, thoughts, prayers, and condolences to the family and friends.
For sure.
Agreed.
It's
So
tough, man.
again, Baby Huey, we salute you. We salute the music that you brought into the streets. We salute the city of St. Louis because we know
Yeah,
that you
peace to
guys
St. Louis.
lost a legend, of course, in your hometown. Anytime someone makes it out of your hometown, makes a hit, that automatically makes them a legend because they put the city on their back in that moment. Like, yo,
Put the
this was
city
for
on
the
the
loot.
map.
This is
Sure.
for the A. This is for the NY. You name it, the list goes on. So now that we can brighten up the note a little bit, I didn't mean to bring everyone down with that. We're gonna bring it on back here. We got a new segment. We just keep on coming out with segments for y'all. We're gonna do a new little segment on this here show. Cause I know y'all like your segments, right? Y'all like a good dose. So this one is called You Can Only. All right. Y'all like what I did there? You can only. So I'd like to shout
Trying to
out
you trying to
OTS
set me up?
on.
You trying to set me up, Dwayne?
Am I trying to set you up?
Trying to set me
No,
up?
no. I would never try to set anyone up here. I
I'm
don't
just
pass
making
the
sure.
ox. But then
All
again, you
right,
never
all
know.
right.
You just never know. You never know. So this is going to be a very interesting question or scenario for my co-host and for my guest right here because this is going to be interesting to see who you guys choose out of this circle.
Oh, wow.
Choices. But in this edition of You Can Only, here's how it works. Basically, it's just a scenario where you come up with this and you know, you paint a picture, and basically in this picture that's painted, you got to choose. Pick your poison, if you will. And in this case, this isn't really necessarily poison. This is more so, man,
Pick your
I can only choose X amount here. Oh, this is gonna kill me. Now,
the anticipation is killing me.
I know, right? I know. But before I go into this, I gotta shout out the OTS on the Sidelines Facebook group because they're always live. And when you're listening, you just never know when we're gonna call you out. And not just this show, but any show from OTS, you never know when we're gonna pick something out. So keep on posting in that Facebook group because you just might make it. So I gotta shout out Mr. Bruce Carter. That's right, Bruce Carter. June 24th at 5:07 p.m. Posted something that I said, you know what? This is good for the new segment that I'm bringing on past the ox. So here we go. You are on a 5-hour trip and you can only, see what I did there? You can only listen to 2 of the following artists. 5 hours on a road trip, and you can only listen to 2 of these 4 artists that I'm about to mention. Are you ready?
Told you set me up. Told you set me up.
For sure.
Hey man,
a new one.
Hey man,
hey,
you know how
I seen the pitch coming, man. Man, what's up? Who we got?
All right, choice number 1. Coming out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, fresh out of the penitentiary himself, Mr. Meek Mill. Option number 2. Coming straight out of the West Coast, good old Compton. Stand up if you're from Compton. You already know what it is. Mr. Pimp a Butterfly himself, Kendrick Lamar. You already know. Option number 3. Well, this brother sometimes really doesn't need an introduction, but coming out of the Ville. That's right. The one, the only, Mr. Jermaine J. Cole. And of course, your final selection. a man who also needs no introduction and is still considered the top of the top, the cream of the crop. Some may even call him the greatest of all time. That's your opinion. That just depends on what you decide. We got a show coming on that later. Mr. In My Feelings, Drake. All right, so the ball is in y'all court.
People, I thought it was 5 people. It's 4 people we have to choose from.
It's 4 people.
Okay.
It's a 5-hour trip. So
Okay,
you have to think about a 5-hour trip that you're going to be on, and you can only listen to 2 of these 4 artists throughout that whole 5-hour trip. So, of those 4 artists, who are y'all going with?
Well, I'm not going to pick J. Cole because he tells Black women the way that we are supposed to have our tones, and I don't appreciate it. So no, I'm just joking. Just kidding. That was a joke. I love J. Cole. Just kidding. But for me, if I had to choose, I'm going Kendrick and I'm going Drake.
Ooh. Care to give why on those reasons, Miss Janine?
I mean, because for Drake, you can literally play anything by him and I'm riding. I like Drake has an infinite amount of hits. He's been fire ever since he came out. So you can't go wrong with Drake. And then as far as Kendrick is going to give me hype. He's going to give me a lyricism. He's going to drop gems, but it's going to be over dope beats. he's going to be super animated. So yeah, that's why those 2.
All right. Okay. Well, all right then. So, Mr. Vinny, sir, I know I had to set you up, but please tell the world, tell the people.
You did.
On a 5-hour trip, road trip, who you taking?
I'm gonna take Kendrick. Second one, I'll probably take based off the last few albums. I think I'm gonna go with Cole. I'm gonna go with Cole and Kendrick. Yeah, and the reason why is because I think coming from, for me personally, and the things I love about hip hop, I always love lyricists, but I also love guys that got a range of content. You know, Lupe Fiasco said a long time ago, and I always admire when he said this about hip hop, is that we always needed a balance of the negative and the positive, right? If you're going to give a problem of something, give a solution. You know what I'm saying? And I've always admired that about Kendrick. And Cole, I was super harsh on Cole when he first came out because I seen his potential, but all he kept rapping about was vagina and women and you know, being scarred about women. And I really wanted to put his big boy pants on and deliver, and he's done that the last few trips. So yeah, I mean, they both incredible rappers, incredible lyricists. I think Cole has really stepped his pen game up the last few years. The last 24 months, he's been on fucking fire. I mean, the record he did, the verse he did on the Gangstar album, Rest in Peace Guru, I mean, that was probably J. Cole's best verse ever. Like, he came and delivered. He had to, you know what I'm saying? You on a record with Guru and DJ Premier, you have to deliver. But yeah, man, Cole and Kendrick, man, they my leaders in the new generation anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I'm riding with them. Shout to Meek, shout to Drake. You know what I'm saying? That was it, right? That was the 4, right? Kendrick, Cole, Drake, and Meek. Yeah, and shouts to Meek too. Meek's been putting a lot of great content out too, with everything going on right now, and he's really investing in the prison reform and really making his voice be heard. And that's again another artist we need. It's just as much as we need the Migos and the Babies and the Little Babies and the Young Thugs. We need, you know, Meek and Drake and Cole and all these cats out here that You know, they're kind of they're the older cats now. You think about it. Shit, 10
OGs.
years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago, Thank Me Later came out. That's crazy. I remember buying that album for my wife, my wife at the time. She's my girlfriend at the time, but now my wife. I remember copying her around the same time. It was Eminem, Recovery, Drake, and yeah, that shit's wild, man. I'm old, man. Jesus, man.
Speaking of old, that's another thing because Vinny, we would love to know your opinion on this. You see, shout out to our producer, Mr. Derek Myers. Now,
Yeah, peace to
he
Derek.
was
Hey,
sending
man, let
me.
me tell you something, man. Derek is one of the hardest working motherfuckers in this whole thing, man. So that's
Hey,
I don't know if y'all seen Power, you know what I'm saying? He ghost, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Ghost,
He in the cut, man. He in the cut.
Ghost.
So peace
Come
to
on,
Derek,
man.
man. He's man, man.
Come on now. Listen.
But my apologies. Proceed.
Oh
Proceed,
no,
my
you're
brother.
good, brother. We gotta always take the time out to give Mr. Derek the props
For
because,
sure.
hey man, we wouldn't be live if it wasn't for a guy like that working hard. So we
Facts.
appreciate you, Mr. Miles. That being said, in a group chat earlier before the show, me, Derek, and Miss Janine were actually trading back and forth in conversation. But we peeped a nice little video of some millennials listening to very, very, very classic hits that we all knew and grew up with and just not even reacting whatsoever. Not one bit. Now the thought was, man, we old. We
I
old. And I said to
blame the
myself,
parents.
I felt like, nah, Shawty, they just don't know good music, apparently. They don't know their history. Something. Because I know millennials. I know millennials that actually know. They know the classic stuff on top of what they listen to now. And most times
Right.
even prefer the classics over what they hear now. Yes, believe
I
it or
had to
not.
Facts.
learn it the hard way. My sister is 8 years younger than me. And so I play a lot of my classic jams and she doesn't know any of it. Like has never heard of it. It's never crossed her radar. And it's saddening. One, because I'm like, I'm old. Two, because how dare you not know these classics? And I'm sure that I've played them around you several times. I'm sure I have.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. My niece is probably the same way. You know, I get it. Okay, I get it. But I'm just saying, I also know millennials who are in their age range, maybe a couple years older, maybe even a few years younger, and they know what we came up with. So, brother Vinny, tell me, are we old? Or is it that we're just really good enough to understand that we are at a nice in between age where we know and respect what's current and what we love, but we appreciate what we love that much more?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts, man?
I mean, here's the thing, bro. I get called an old head in my household. I'm 33. I'll be 34 in November, so I'm considered an old head. So, and I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? The thing for me though is like my age group of cats that are in 30 mid 30s, they're on some other shit. Like I'm an old head at heart. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up listening to everything. You know what I'm saying? R&B, funk, classic rock, hip hop. Um, Country was never a thing in my household. Start I'm starting to learn a little bit of that, because my wife's been on this kind of weird new country wave, and it's kind of interesting. It's kind of weird
Yeah,
too, but
yeah.
you
Who
gotta
knew?
be you gotta be versatile with it. So I think for me, um, it's not that we're old. It's just that we were blessed to grow up, and if you were blessed enough to grow up in a household full of music, you solid anyway. If you didn't, you might be a little fucked up. So it's upon us to educate them. Say, yo, this is what it is. I'll give you a prime example. My little brother, he's 22. Wait, no, 23. He just turned 23 in January. That motherfucker don't listen to none of this new shit. He does to a point, but he loves the Wu-Tangs. He loves the Mobb Deeps. He loves the Snoop Dogs, the Dre's, you know what I'm saying? The Chronics, the Dog Pounds. Because I told him, I said, yo, if you're going to listen to hip hop, you're going to have to kind of travel all the way back and see where it came from to see where it's at now. You know what I mean? And then you can understand fully what the culture is. You know what I mean? So we just got to educate these youngins. That's all. Listen to them. That's a key thing. You got to listen to them. I got a 20-year-old sister-in-law who loves all this new stuff. Trust me, I pick her brain a lot. Yo, give me your phone. I want to see what your iTunes is like. She'll even send me playlists because you got to keep up on it. You know what I mean? So I think for us, just as much as they educating us, the young generation, they don't even know it. We gotta, you know what I'm saying, we gotta educate them. Like, hey, you gonna listen to this Reasonable Doubt album by Jay-Z. You gonna listen to, you know what I'm saying? You gonna listen to this 50 Cent Give Her Should Die Trying. You gonna listen to, you know, Kendrick Lamar to Pimp a Butterfly. So it's not that we old. I mean, look, man, age ain't nothing but a number.
You know, thank you, Brother Vinny. Thank you. Because I don't know about my co-host here, but I never feel old. I feel very timeless. I'm just saying.
You're timeless.
I'm timeless, baby. Timeless. Very, very timeless. Okay? Ain't no age over here. You know what I'm saying? We good. We infinite status, baby.
Right,
but
right.
I do have to ask this because I would love to know your thoughts. Why does it seem like millennials don't seem to vibe or like Eminem as much, if at all? Any particular reason behind that?
That's for me.
Yeah, you think anything? Is there something about Eminem that makes millennials not seem to relate to him or like him? I don't get it.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna crack the code for y'all. I think, me personally, this is my opinion. I think that with Eminem being such an elite lyricist, I think as we talk about Recovery being 10 years old, it's not my favorite Eminem album. It's got some high points to it. But lyrically, you got to understand when you look at 2010 and beyond, there's not too many lyricists in the game anymore at that level. You know, Kendrick might be very close. Cole might be right, you know, below Kendrick if we looking at stats. But I think the newer generation doesn't pay attention to Eminem because obviously he's old. He's an old cat. But I also really, honestly, truly believe in the fact that they don't listen to music. They skim through it. Jay-Z said a long time ago, man, do you fools listen to music or do you just skim through it? See, I'm influenced by the ghetto you ruined. The same dude that gave you nothing. I made something through it. So if you think about that, right? M's pushing the pen, and Eminem doesn't need to. Eminem's got billions of dollars. Eminem is the most successful rapper of this whole shit. You know what I'm saying? But I think that the new generation is too complex for them. It's too much for them to digest. And in this day and age, it's all about the beat. And it used to be the beat, and then it used to be the catchy hook in the 50 Cent era. Then it transitioned into the singing shit, right? Where it's super melodic. You gotta be singing. Now the verses are melodic, bro. Shit, I was listening to who was I listening to today? Oh, I was listening to JD, the Prince of NY, this new artist out of New York. Motherfucker singing through the whole first verse. He's rapping, but he's singing, but it's super catchy. And by the second, it was only two verses and two in a hook. And I said, that shit's catchy as fuck. Well, the attention span, you got to realize something too, is that the millennials now that are growing up, we millennials, if we think about it, right, we consider millennials. But I think the newer generation in hip hop and just in society in general, you don't catch their attention in 1 minute, they ain't paying you no mind.
They go on to the next thing.
Do I blame them? No, because that's kind of that's how they've been brought up. But as it goes back to Eminem, is I truly honestly think that he's super complex. Like I've had not really arguments, but I've told people I'm not talking to you about Eminem, period, until you've listened to, the last two projects, and I'm gonna ask you some questions and quiz you. And if we ain't on the same mental, I'm not having a conversation with you, because you ain't gonna argue with me about, Eminem. But I think I just really think it's a short attention span. You know what I'm saying? I think that music is so easy and watered down right now that you ain't really coming with that shit. Ain't nobody fucking listening to you. And it's a shame, you know what I'm saying? Because M is pushing that pen, man. And I had debates with people, man. Like me and Rema have me and Papa have conversations. Like, this motherfucker's, he's like a machine. I don't understand him, bro. It's like, how do you rhyme these words together and do it that quick? It's amazing. You know what I mean? But that goes back to we gotta educate. We gotta let these little youngins know that, hey, in the world of hip hop, world of lyricism, this is the cream of the crop. You know what I'm saying? I do also think too that I think it's a white boy thing too. I think that for a long time he's had to battle that, and I think he's still battling that a little bit. You know what I mean? I think people don't give him his just due. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see, man. It's gonna suck when he passes away and dies. I think that's when everybody's gonna be on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he was so great. God give him his flowers now. You know what I'm saying? Because in this day and age, bro, I salute a guy like Eminem. You got mansions on mansions, bro. You do not need to rap. You do not need to be in no
You don't have to be here with us.
You could be in the Cayman Islands somewhere, but he loves hip hop so much, man. And that's one thing about me personally. I get a lot of people saying too, like, I don't relate to Eminem. I never hated my mother. I never wanted to kill my wife. Neither did I, bro. Like, fuck, man.
But you can still fucking rap.
Yeah.
Still rap
the thing that drew me to Eminem personally was it was his voice, man. It was like, what is he? And then the shit he was coming out of his mouth, like, I remember one line, it was the first Eminem song I ever heard, man. It was actually him and Royce. This motherfucker said, give me 2 fat tabs and 3 shrooms and you won't see me like fat people in steam rooms. And I was like, what? It was funny, man. But like, just his whole style is just, it's so crazy that, man, I can't believe Recovery's 10 years old. It's just crazy how much he's gotten better from Recovery till now. And even before then, like from 99 to 2010, like, fuck, man. You just see an artist progression like that. That's incredible, man.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. And it actually reminds me, since me and Neen are some fellow ATLians down here, kind of makes me think of our boy Andre 3 Stacks and how much we crave wishing this guy would come back just to give us a feature or something. But then we realized maybe Andre was actually the smarter one of all of these rappers. He realizes the fact that, you know what, my heart ain't really in it right now. Plus, I don't think these kids want to hear what I got to rap about because I'm a father who drives a minivan. I got kids now. This and that.
And he plays the flute.
Yeah, like
flute on a track though.
3 Stacks is like, yo, I'm good. I'm chilling. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you know what I mean?
I might be the minority in it, bro. If I don't hear another 3 Stacks verse, I'm cool. Because the shit that he did from 94 until last, bro, is so ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Like, that shit is just, bro.
You know?
Man, he's like, if he ain't in your top 10 of all time, like, you deserve to be slapped, shot up, stabbed up.
Come on, man.
I don't want to get too violent, but goddamn.
Come on, tell these. I'm telling you, man, how many rappers you know ain't even really had their own full solo albums and you put them in your top 10? I mean, come on, man. You know what I mean? Exactly. So that being said, as we wrap this thing up, Vinny, real quick, go ahead and tell the people of Pass the Ox. Tell them about your In the Mix show, of course, but also tell them about Six Families Radio if they're not listening on Six Families Radio, to our iPod, Apple Music listeners, and Spotify listeners. Tell them about Six Families Radio and why they should tune in and check us out on there.
Well, can I ask before we talk about why we listen to it? I'm really interested to know where did the name Six Families come from, because it's giving me a real mafioso, you don't fuck with the family type of vibe. Where's
Right.
it coming from?
It's all in the family.
It's all in the family. You fuck with the family, you're swimming with the fishes.
Right.
The pieces.
Facts. Facts. Yeah. So, I mean, first and foremost, I appreciate y'all having me on here. It was definitely fun chopping it up with y'all. Y'all bring such a dope energy to your show, and just for me to be a part of it, like I said, man, honor and shit. Anytime you need me, I'm here, man. I'll come back anytime. But to answer your question about Six Families Radios, yeah. So I'm an Italian kid, man. I grew up, Italian, blood in, blood out. Um, Mafioso and mafia related things have been a staple in my household for, since I was a kid. And what I did when I created Six Families Entertainment Incorporated is my own company that I started 12 years ago. And the whole concept of it was there's 5 mob families in New York that control all of the things coming in and out of New York City, right? And what I wanted to do is I love that energy of the mafia where it was like your family, right? This thing of ours. But obviously, we ain't gonna be doing no crazy shit. We ain't gonna be dealing no drugs. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna do extorting people. But the whole mentality of being a family and being mob minded was what I wanted to transition into, naming my company Six Families. So it's 5 families in New York. We the sixth, you know what I'm saying? And we the sixth family in the world, but we breaking that cycle, right? We transitioning into the hip hop game, and we reaching in different areas, you know what I'm saying? So we got a little bit of money here, we got a little bit of money there, you know what I mean? But with Six Families Radio, what I really wanted to accomplish, as I mentioned earlier, was I really wanted to showcase an outlet and a platform for artists who didn't get their fair shake, artists who don't have the marketing dollars to spend on a radio run, artists who fucking put their heart and soul into this music shit, and they don't have, again, they don't have that platform that they should. So overall, that's exactly where the name comes from. Is definitely mob influence. If you listen to the station, it's we got drops in there, we got little skits and stuff about the commission. It's called the Commission in Hip Hop is because you take the oath. When you take the oath, you join the commission, and you rep what we rep here, and then the day if you don't, you know what happens, you know what I'm saying? That's it.
You know what happens when you don't join the family? You leave out under in a box, 6 feet on the center gruck balls. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Work on it.
And that's the thing is that I think my family, and I just in general, most of my family's either in a pine box or they in prison. You know what I'm saying? Because the way my family was in the streets, it was heavy. It was heavy, 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 heavy. So I had to break the cycle. You know what I'm saying? So with me being in this industry for so long, since I was 15 years old, you know what I mean? I decided, you know what? We gonna make something out of it. We gonna put our stamp on it. And that's what Six Families is about. You know what I'm saying? Six Families Radio, 24/7, authentic hip hop. You know what I mean? And as you mentioned, Dwayne, as far as the mix show, so Tuesdays, all right, I'm gonna cause some ruckus on the airways, man. I promise you that.
Come on.
It's called Tuesday Night Venom. It's a mix show format, and basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give people a taste in 30 minutes to an hour of what Six Families is, right? So all the records we playing, you're gonna hear some exclusives. You're gonna hear some shit that you never heard before. Like I got a hard drive full of like shit no one's ever heard before. Like I got records that people had talked about on the internet with some of the people I've been close with over the years that no one's ever heard before. You know what I'm saying? So the whole mind state with the mix show is just to show people, here's what we play, here's what we do, here are the artists that we're breaking. That's a big thing too. I got a lot of new artists that are on the come up right now. That they're gonna be on a mix show. Free exclusive freestyles, new music. We talked about New Music Fridays, and it's just gonna be an outlet for me to get on the ones and twos talk my shit, be in rare form, and just let people know, hey, look, these are artists. You know, you love your Coles, your Kendricks, your Drakes, and all that, but hey, here's this new wave coming that you need to be on point with. And Six Families Radio is going to be the place to break these artists. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, okay.
So Tuesday night Venom. We gonna go live. We're gonna go live 9 p.m. Eastern. You know what I'm saying? And I'm excited because with y'all it's gonna be crazy because with the Tuesday night Venom show is really gonna showcase what the station's about. What you guys bring to the table is original conversations and topics and dialogue about our culture, and various other topics. You know what I'm saying? So for me to come in and just let the music speak for itself, oh man, it's gonna be crazy. And when I hit that button and you hear these records, man, a lot of my core fan base when I used to do this years ago, I used to do the mix show. You know what I bring to the table. It's just I'm always searching for that new artist, and I'm gonna hit you with some shit you never heard before. You go, fuck, and I'm gonna give you a taste. I'm gonna give you a taste of what's on the station too. You know what I mean? And let everybody know, hey, this is what we're about. This is what Six Families is about. This is the real deal. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, okay.
Oh.
Well, listen, y'all already know. Six Families Radio, sixfamiliesradio.com. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you listen.
Oh, and one thing too, starting next week, we're gonna be live on many more platforms. Shout out to TuneIn. Everybody knows TuneIn. That's one of the biggest platforms for radio stations. We're gonna be in your car. You're gonna be able to talk to Alexa, that funky crazy lady. You're gonna listen
Come
to
on.
Google. You're just gonna be able to say, "Yo, play Six Families Radio," and boom, we there. We also introducing next week the video format. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna be in the video form online. We're gonna be on our website, sixfamiliesradio.com. When I go live Tuesday, that starts the whole wave of the video format. I'm gonna be live on Instagram, sixfamiliesradio.com, Periscope, Twitch, Mixer, Facebook.
Come on, man.
I'm gonna be that's the thing is that they gave me a platform to come back and they shouldn't have done it. Because now I'm gonna be everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And that's it.
We
So
everywhere,
it's gonna be fun,
baby.
man. It's gonna be fun. So I encourage everybody, man. Tuesday night Venom, come rock with me. When you see the artwork, y'all gonna go crazy. And it's just gonna give you that energy, man. And you know, as we wrap up tonight, you know what I'm saying? I salute y'all for being a part of the team. I I won't give the fans too much insider information, but Dwayne, when me and you hooked up and we did our little 1-2, I knew something was special over here. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes, sir.
you guys have a platform on my side, and with what I'm able to do on my platform over the years and build it, and to bring y'all into the fold as you guys are growing, we grow together, and it's gonna be it's just gonna be so incredible because the content y'all bring is so dope, and it reaches fans that never really would have fucked with me in the first place because I'm a hip hop dude. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all was talking realist tonight. Was about Disney Plus and Hulu and Marvel and DC, and I'm like, I don't know what that's about, but guess what? There's some people out there. Y'all have people hit me up like, what do you know about comic? I said that's not even I'm not on that show. Those are my homies, man. Like, listen to them. They're like, yo, I love the show. And that's the great thing. You know what I'm saying? So cross-pollinating and really bridging the gap between, as we talked about tonight, man, bridging that gap of new and old, I guess. You know what I mean? And coming together for one cause. We love music. You know what I'm saying? We love entertainment. We love culture. So that's what we're here to do, man. So I appreciate y'all rocking with me, and we're gonna keep it moving, man. That's what we about.
Come on now. And you know what? Y'all already get enough of me. So I'm gonna let my co-host close us out today. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let her give the final remarks. Cause this is past the ox, baby. And you never know. We
and I have been past the ox. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you all so much for tuning in this evening. If you're listening on Monday night on Six Families Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in on YouTube or on any of the podcast platforms. If you're tuning in on Wednesday, Vinny, it was such a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for being part of the show. I'm looking forward to our growth and what we're going to do here. Dwayne, it's always a pleasure. You're the bestest co-host a gal could ever ask for. Could ever ask for. I guess we should close out by giving everybody our social medias. For me, Instagram at Nina Soul, NIINASOL. You can catch my other podcast, What Did I Think About This Week? And of course, I'm part of the OTS family, so I'm on that website as well. Back over to you, Cuzzo.
Well, you already know. You can find it, and y'all see, it ain't just me. I ain't the only one that know how to do dope intros and outros. My Cuzzo, my best co-host in the whole wide world, knows how to do it too. She does it so proper, doesn't she, y'all? That's all I'm saying. You know, can't always do this, man. We a team in this thing. So, you already know where you can find your boy. Find your boy at Dwayne Dickey Jr. on Instagram. You can follow my artist page if you like to check out some new music. Wait, this guy named Highlight Reel, I think he has a surprise EP coming. Oops.
Does he?
I say something exclusively on Past the Ox here? Wait a minute. I think I just made a headline go here on this, but nonetheless, follow your boy at Highlight Life, HILITE Life on Instagram and on Twitter. You can also find me pretty much on the Life's a Botch podcast, another show that we brought right here on the OTS family with OTS guys. Check out some cool wrestling interviews. We got some new interviews coming out. And, we got other cool shows, such as the Bay Fuel, such as Sideline Guys, all this great stuff. And they're all broadcasted right here on Six Families Radio, along with Past the Ox, baby. You know what it is. So, by all means, we're going to pass this thing over to Vinny and let him go ahead and tell y'all his social media real quick. Vinny, tell the people.
Again, hey, man, thanks for having me again. It's definitely been great. And yeah, we going to smash some shit. Like I said, we're going to make a lot of people angry and, we're going to cause some drama. Instagram, Vinny49th, Twitter, Vinny49th, Six Families Inc. on Twitter, and also Instagram if you want to follow the station and the company page. And then sixfamiliesradio.com, man. That's the hub for everything. Y'all can peep all the on-demand shows. So if you missed tonight, it's up there on demand. And hey, be on the lookout, man. Tuesday Night Venom tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Tuesday. So we rocking and rolling. And video live all week, man. We're gonna have all these episodes live. And you know what we're gonna do though? I'm gonna tell y'all off the camera, behind the scenes, we're gonna mix and mingle on that. But hey, man, follow me, holla at me, Vinny. We here, man.
Yes, sir. Well, that being said,
shouts to
my
Derek.
Man. Hey, shout out to Derek once again.
Shouts to Derek. Yes.
We can't stop giving you praises on the show, man.
Flowers.
You already know. You deserve it all, brother. Round of applause. Because yet again, this is another successful episode of Pass the Ox, baby. Episode number 3. Uno, numero 3. However you want to put it, 1, 2, 3. That's the 3 count, baby. So, without further ado, this my boy, Vinny the Don. It's your boy, Dwayne, a.k.a. the Prince of Botch. And, of course, my co-host, the lovely Janine, also known as the Queen of Clatchet. You already know what time it is. And the ox has officially been passed to you. Peace.